Oh, we got smoke coming out of the chimney. That can only mean one thing. We got some wood burning in the cabin. Yeah, buddy. Now, the problem that I was faced with immediately was that my wood is just too wet out here. I only got out here in the late fall. So ever since I've been here, I've been just grabbing wood as I could and throwing it under tarps to try to start drying it out in that. But it's really not enough time. You really want it to be seasoned for a good year or so. So not much I can do about that. It'll be much better next winter. For this first winter, I got to work with what I've got to work with. So that wet wood just it's not wanting to catch well. So what I ended up doing was running to the store and grabbing those little fire starters. You fire them up and they burn for like 15 minutes. So I put that in there underneath the wood, and by the time that's burning, it's enough to get the wood going. And as long as I keep wood going on in there, then it's fine. But getting it started was difficult. So I didn't want to have to buy those, but it's a small price to pay. If it just gets me through the remainder of this first winter, if I can just survive here, that's the purpose. And then, like I said, next winter I'll have the wood nice and seasoned and much better prepared for this time next year. Doing the roofing on this 4x4 tip out here and running the chimney through it wasn't really super difficult. It was time consuming, lots of little things to tend to, and I took longer than I probably needed to because, to be honest, I was scared. It's my first time ever installing a wood stove and my first time ever using one. So I wanted to make sure everything was zipped up tight, everything. Nobody wants to burn down their house. So I took extra care and extra time to make sure everything was good and it's secure up there. I had to run the legs to attach it up there and attached it to the fascia boards. It's a little bit hillbilly rigged, but welcome to real homesteading. If you want somebody to lie to you about how beautiful and glamorous homesteading is, then there's thousands of other homestead channels out there that are happy to do that for you. But this is just I've had to install it the way I had to install it. Nothing ever works the way it says in the instructions. You open up the instructions to this stuff, in the pictures aren't even showing the same part that they came with. Nothing lines up right. So it's kind of just, you kind of got to collect the parts that looks like you need. And when you start installing it, just kind of figure out a way to make it work. That's just kind of rigging it up. This is pretty timely getting this stove fired up because I'm sure all of you know that, the entire country is getting that polar vortex, whatever, coming through. And we got some cold temperatures coming up here. It'll be down in the single digits at night, which is funny because back in when I lived in a comfortable home, those kinds of temperatures were just a minor inconvenience. But living out here primitively, that's life and death for me. So there's no margin for error with this coming up. I had to be prepared for it. We've done fine with the little propane heater. Down to, we've had the coldest temperatures or low 20s or so. And with the propane heater and dressing warm in blankets, we were fine. But anything colder than 20 degrees, I think, would be really pushing that propane heater. It just wouldn't be enough. So I'm working with this stove now, and I still have the propane just in case. So let's say the wood burner just ain't quite enough. I could always fire up that propane heater on the coldest part of the night on some of those if it gets really brutal enough. We do always have the option too. If I feel like me and Brute are in danger, I'll pack us up and go to the local motel. We've stayed there before when we were coming to check out the property, and that they allowed dogs and accommodated us. So, that's not something I want to have to do, but I don't want anybody out there to worry for me like we're going to be in danger or nothing. I'll make sure we're fine. Plan A, we're going to stay out here and see how it goes. And then I've prepared as well as I could for this abnormally cold temperatures for here. But if it comes to the worst, we'll be just fine. Got a fire going. So installing this Hardy backer board all the way around was honestly kind of a nightmare. The stuff just, when you're trying to hammer it up, it's real spongy, so the nails just want to bounce out everywhere on you. It kept cracking. Take 15 minutes, make all the measurements and the cuts, and you come walking back with the piece, and it snaps in half on you. So then you got to come in with the cement product and go over the seam, and then just a nightmare. So let's just say this Hardy backer board product is probably not going to get invited to my birthday party. But that all being said, now that it's installed, I got to give it credit. It's working exactly how I had hoped it would. Not only is it protecting all the walls for fire safety reasons, but it's holding in heat. It's getting nice and warm. So this entire cavity of this cement board is nice and warm, and it's just radiating heat out into the cabin area here. So I feel good about it. No leaks. It looks like everything looks like it's installed okay. Um, as far as advice on if you want to install a wood burner, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I watched every video on YouTube there is about installing them, and not a single one of those videos was a exact application to what I had. It just felt like each time you install something like this, it's going to be its own little animal, and you're just going to have to work with it and just make it work under your circumstances. So just be careful with it, and it'll be okay. It's great to have, though. I mean, geez, the amount of warmth it's putting off for us is just helps big time. So it's a major learning curve. Not only getting the fire going, for those who don't know, it's not just you put in the wood stove, throw some wood in it, start on fire, and everything's great. There is a major learning curve to how it all goes. And then when I start using the cooktop and start cooking on it, that's going to be an even bigger learning curve. But that's, better to start doing it now rather than be forced into a situation down the line where I have to do it and have no idea how. Start figuring these things out now. Start getting the bugs worked out. Somebody's enjoying having all this extra warmth in here.